Hi, I'm Liv and welcome back to the Book Nook. Hey guys, so welcome back to the Book Nook. It has been a while, as in it has been some days, as in did you have a good Christmas? I can't remember, what day is it? What's happening, huh? So first things first, you may notice the lighting is slightly different, and that is because my main Christmas present was this bad boy. Are you ready for this? Da-da-da-da. Yes, I got me one of them for Christmas from my mum and dad, which was really, really nice, and it's quite bright, I have to say. So I've fiddled with some settings on my camera, and yeah, it's pretty bright. It's about as far away as I can get it from the chair without it being in the doorway in case anybody walks in or if I have to walk out. But yay, now I've got a proper light setting, and actually, bags under my eyes don't look quite so big. So that was my main present for Christmas. I'm just going to do it for this video. So I was, of course, going to do my books of the year, my sort of the Book Nook Awards, but I'm actually going to leave that until the weekend, because what I'm going to do on Sunday the 31st is do my books of the year, and then on Monday the 1st I'm going to do my sort of reading goals, reading plan for 2018. So what I thought I would do today is just do a haul of all the books that I have bought in December that I may or I think it's all the ones that I haven't hauled during the course of Vlogmas, and some Christmas presents. So you've seen the giant light, that was my main Christmas present. I got two other forms of light for Christmas, so I like light. First one is this little dude. Now, it's a little BB-8 light. Now look, wait, are you ready for this? Oh, it's a little BB-8 light. He's adorable. So I got that one, and I love him, and he sits next to Ray and Porg pop vinyl thingies. Oh, saw Star Wars. I've seen The Last Jedi now. I can't remember if I mentioned that in my Christmas Eve Vlogmas thingy. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. And then the other light I got is this. Okay. It smells glorious because they've done that wood burning to get the hinge, so, but there, are you ready? Wait, I don't know if I can do this. Ah, how cool is that? It's like a sad lamp. So it's a light that's also a book. It opens like 360 degrees as well. It opens thus, and it stands up, and it's amazing, and I love it. It gives this lovely soft sort of reading light, and I actually had to use it the other day when my bulb went over in my little office area, and I needed a light over there, and just used it for that. And yeah, it's this lovely soft sort of soothing light, not too harsh, not too soft, it's just right. It's like the porridge of lights. Now, would you believe it, for Christmas I only got one book. Just one. I did, of course, get a couple of book tokens because my family know that with my discount at work, book tokens are worth twice as much to me, and all I buy is books, so it makes sense. But the one book I did get is one that I've been excited about for a while and has been on my sort of periphery, and I've been trying to get hold of a copy, and it's only available in America, so I had to get it online, or rather I had to steer relatives towards it online, and that is Elise Cowan Poems and Fragments, edited by Tony Trigilio. Now, this is one that I'd seen on Twitter. Sorry, you can't really see it, it's quite a big one. I'd seen on Twitter, and Elise Cowan is a poet from the Beat generation, and she was mainly sort of known as Allen Ginsberg's typist. But obviously, there was a lot more to her than that, and I was just really intrigued by this one. I'd seen about it on Twitter, and seen a few sort of reviews for it elsewhere. So my parents managed to get hold of a copy of it for Christmas for me, so there's a little bit of a sort of biography, mini biography of Elise Cowan at the front, and a bit of sort of introduction to why this anthology exists, and it's essentially reproduced from the only surviving notebook of her poems that was sort of being looked after by a guy who knew her and who said he was her sort of literary executor of her literary estate, but it turned out he wasn't, and it had passed down through her family, who it had been reported were less sort of supportive of her than they actually were. So there's sort of quite a slightly sort of dingy backstory to it, which I find quite interesting. But yeah, this is all sort of reproduced from notebooks, and very few that were published of hers, so I'm just really intrigued by this one. So that is the one book I got for Christmas, and as I say, now I wasn't too disappointed at all, because I do genuinely, I know it sounds really cliche, but I really love giving, and what I did this year that I tend to do every year is I kind of get carried away with buying for people, so I'm like, okay, I've got 3 for that person, so I'll even it up and everyone's got 3, and then I buy 1 more for one person, I'm like, oh no, everyone else has to have 4. So that happened again this year, and when it came to opening presents on Christmas Day, I had literally half as many as everyone else, but that was absolutely fine. So a few other little bits that I did get that I thought I would share. I don't know whether you guys remember when I did my little shelfie tour that I showed you this guy, who is a little bottle topper, done by sort of like a local craftsman that's always around at the Christmas market in Exeter, and my brother got me this one last year. And then this year he saw that they actually had a little cat one. Meow. So he's adorable. They live on my shelves because I don't really have bottles to put them on top of, because all my bottles go from full to empty. Then I got a lovely, lovely candle. Now I discovered these candles when I was around at a mate's house and she had one. And we were sat in this room, we were sort of chatting, and I was like, what is that noise? What is it? And essentially it's a candle that crackles and it makes a noise. So it's like a little mini fireplace. So they're what are they called? Woodwick candles, I think. Woodwick candles. Patented plus wick, crackles as it burns. So it has a cross wick in there, and as you light it, it makes a little crackling sound, and it smells absolutely They do lots of different scented ones with just sort of single scents, and then they do a sort of series of trilogy scents, and this one, I've taken the lid off and I'm getting a sense of it again. It's fireside, redwood, and sandalwood clove, so essentially it's this wonderful, smoky, warming, cosy smell, and it is just amazing. Honestly, I wish I could create like scratch and sniff videos or something. Here, have a sniff. Honestly, they're gorgeous. So if you've ever seen these before and you've been tempted by them, thoroughly, thoroughly recommend. I've also smelt the cherry one. Cherry one's really nice. So they do some other trilogy ones, but this one, as I say, fireside redwood and sandalwood clove. It's very, very gorgeous. Focus. There we go. It's definitely the most expensive candle that I've ever owned, which is why I was really pleased to get it as a present, because it's not something that I would normally do, is drop dollar on a candle. It's not sort of, I've not been historically a big candle person, mainly because I have a cat and I don't trust him near flames. So it was really, really pleased to get one of those for Christmas, but I am going to have to try and ration it, because I would just have it going all the time and have the house just full of that lovely, lovely scent, but then it will be gone. One other thing that I did get for Christmas is this little owl. This little owl of mine. I don't know what sound owls make. So yeah, I got lots of other like little bits and pieces as well, like little silly gifts and edible gifts, so they're all gone. But generally it was just a nice chilled Christmas. I'd say one of the most chilled Christmases we've had in a while. There actually weren't any sort of family arguments this year, which was nice. And I won the annual cracker toy race with penguins. I won. You may have seen that up on my Instagram. If not, I shall insert that clip here.
Ready? Ready? 1, 2, hang on, Doug, can you straighten yours up, please? Ready? Go! Oh, no! Straighten up! Oh, I don't speak like I am. Come on! Come on! Come on!
Victor, I am the victor. Just thought it was important that I share my athletic prowess with you. Hey look, that's as sporty as I get. So in terms of other books hauled, I'll just go through a few that I bought in December and didn't mention in the vlog, or some of them I think I might have done, I got a bit confused. The first one is a book that I technically already have in 3 parts, but I saw this edition come into work and had to own it. And that is Jeff Vandermeer's Area X trilogy. So that's Annihilation, Authority and Acceptance. And I think they've done this gorgeous new edition because of the film that's coming out. So I've been meaning to get around to reading this for a long time now, and I think having this edition, this huge edition, will actually feed into something that I will be talking about for my reading goals for 2018. Plus, right, I was on the fence. I was thinking, right, I already have these 3. I can't really justify buying another one. Then I took the dust jacket off, and what a lovely shade of blue. So yeah, I own this now. Another one that I got just before Christmas is yet another one that I saw while I was browsing the shelves at work, and that is Fish Can Sing by Haldor Laxness. Now, I've never read any Laxness before, and the main one that we've always had in the bookshop is Independent People, which is about yay thick. So I've always been a bit like, ooh, ooh. But you know how I like my Scandi, so Halldór Laxness is an Icelandic author. And this one was written in 1957, and it is about a guy who was abandoned as a baby and then brought up and lives in this sort of village, and he's a fisherman and he's quite content with his life. And then he meets a guy at school, I think, and he gets taught to sing, and it goes from there, and it just sounds absolutely captivating. And I've read like the first page, and already the prose is breathtaking. So yes, got myself that one. And I'm just going to slip in one that was sent to me and arrived just before Christmas, and this was sent by the guys at Hodder and Stoughton, and that is The Wicked Cometh by Laura Carlin. I've heard a lot about this one. Somebody else at work was sent a copy as well and was talking to me about it, and I was like, ooh, and then there was a copy for me too. It's a bit of a historical one, but a bit of sort of fantasy in there as well. It's 1831. Down the murky alleyways of London, acts of unspeakable wickedness are taking place, and no one is willing to speak out on behalf of the city's vulnerable poor as they disappear from the streets. Out of these shadows comes Hester White, a bright young woman who is desperate to escape the slums by any means possible. And this cover is gorgeous and foily and lovely, and yeah. Then these are the few that I can't remember whether I did haul or mention at any point during the latter stages of Vlogmas. I know I did mention that I got myself the Iron Age. I have now got myself the rest of the Republic of Consciousness long list. So there's Die My Love by Ariana Harvich, then Gaudy Bauble by Isabel Widener. Sorry, I'm trying to read these from there and it's harder than I thought. In the Absence of Absalom by Simon Okotie. Compass by Matthias Enard. This is definitely the one I'm most daunted by. Then Pretty Taniji's We That Are Young. This one's a chunkster, but I'm still not quite as daunted by that one as by Compass. Naomi Lefebvre's Blue Self-Portrait. And the last one to arrive is An Overcoat by Jack Robinson. Yeah, I have now got the full long list for the Republic of Consciousness Prize, and I think I am going to try and read them. If not before the shortlist is announced, then I think I'm just going to read them up until the winner's announced, because I am fascinated by all of these books, and they all look to be ones that tick my boxes. Then when I was in on Boxing Day, which you may have gathered from previous mentions of Boxing Day, I wasn't thrilled about in terms of I just don't think any shops should be open on Boxing Day. But I was there, and one of the advantages of being in on Boxing Day is when you're putting the clearance stuff in, often throughout the year, books get damaged and they get sort of stickered up ready to go in the after Christmas clearance. And because I was in not my usual shop, I didn't know what was down there, and it was my task to go down to the basement and fetch the stuff and bring the stuff up. And while I was doing that, I happened to encounter some Nigel Slater cookbooks that were reduced because they were damaged. Now I should stress I don't get my staff discount on top of these. It's not, you know, it's not that kind of deal. So I picked up Nigel Slater's Kitchen Diaries 2. So this one had like the paper thing was ripped, and I think there's a few pages that are bashed in there and a couple possibly ripped as well, but doesn't bother me. Then we've got Real Food as well, and you can see this one's been a bit bashed. Again, had a bit of paper around it. So I've got Real Food and Appetite as well. These are quite big ones, sort of face on, so I struggle, I have to pop them on my shoulder. Yeah, I mean, you all know that I've fallen head over heels for Nigel Slater, and also I'm just determined to try and do a bit more cooking in general. I've always been scared of cooking, but in the last sort of 6 to 9 months, I'd say I go through stages every week or so where I'm like, right, I'm going to cook something that's going to be amazing, and I want to do a bit more of that. And actually on Twitter recently, in the last couple of days, the wonderful Alice Slater at Smoking Tofu, no G, is setting up, or loosely sort of setting up, this hashtag CookJan, which is kind of going against this whole sort of New Year, New You thing that's always preaching this kind of like clean eating and stuff, and it's boring and it just gets a bit much. So what Alice is doing is celebrating sort of just cooking good food, yummy food, not sort of boring food that you feel like you have to eat, and food that you feel you should be eating and should be cooking. It's all about just cooking whatever you want during January, whether it's cooking regularly. So for Alice, because she's now no longer working for Waterstone, she's got a job where she can actually sort of cook things on a more regular basis, and she's excited to do that, and I'm a little bit jealous. But then for people like me, it's just, okay, say on days off, or if I come home and I've got a bit more energy and I want to actually cook something, I'm just going to do that. So yeah, check out Alice's Twitter, where she's talked a little bit more about that. But that's something that I got these and was like thinking about trying to cook more, and then she was talking about this as well. I was like, well, this is just perfect. And the final 2 books that I'm going to haul are 2 that I picked up yesterday with the first of my tokens that I got for Christmas, so they count as sort of Christmas presents, but also not. And they're 2 sort of little impulse buys. Now, one I sort of looked at and was toying with, and I thought, you know what, New Year's, I'm going to go there, I'm going to do this. And this is A Night Out with Robert Burns, and it's introduced by Andrew O'Hagan. It's another one of Canongate's gorgeous, the Canon covers. I mean, look at that. So the interesting thing about this book is it's not just a collection, a straightforward collection of Robert Burns poems. And the way it does it is sort of in between poems. It gives you the context of when it was sort of written and what was going on and the order they were written in. And Robert Burns has always been a poet that I've always wanted to read more of. You know how much I fell in love with Edinburgh recently, and in general just love Scotland, and really want to get into sort of reading more Robert Burns, because I feel like as someone who has read and studied poetry, it was never something that was quite so on my sort of radar, and I want to get more into it, and we know I want to read more poetry in 2018, so I thought I will start it by having a night out with Robert Burns over New Year's. Then on a whim I picked up another poetry collection. There is another one which I think is sort of along the lines of Rupi Kaur, Amanda Lovelace, the sort of Insta poets, that sort of thing, and that is Pillow Thoughts by Courtney Pepernell, which is a fantastic name. So yeah, it's another one that is sort of these Insta poet type ones, so they are short, snappy little poems, most of them about sort of love and loss and heartbreak, and I just occasionally just feel like tapping into that, so I thought I'd pick it up. So that is my little end of December haul-erino. Sorry that some of them I think are repeated, the Republic of Consciousness ones, but I wasn't sure. One other thing I do want to mention is that I finished reading Hogfather, and that is book 150 done. 150 books in the year. I am stoked. I never really say stoked. I am thrilled, chuffed, happy. Yeah, finished Hogfather. Didn't love it as much as I did the first time I read it, actually. I don't know whether I kind of remembered it wrong, but still loved it. Lovely to be back in Discworld, on Discworld, I should say. And yeah, just to read a bit more Pratchett again, because it's been a while. Currently, I am reading book 151 of the year, and another one from the Republic of Consciousness Prize. It's one that I was going to start a week or so ago, and then I decided to read Hogfather instead, and that is Atrib and Other Stories by Ellie Williams, which of course was mentioned by both Alice and Bethany on the What Page You On podcast Books of 2017 roundup, which I urge you to listen to. You will get lots of good recommendations from that. So I've started reading this today. I've only read 2 short stories from it, and already I am just like, ah, yes. So really excited to read the rest of this. So that is that. Good to be back. Hope you haven't missed me too much. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas. Thank you so much to everybody who wished me happy Christmas and everything, and all the lovely chats. And thank you to the couple of lovely people who have reached out saying they have copies of the New Yorker issues that I was after sort of stashed away. Hopefully we can make something happen, so thank you. Lovely people. Lovely people. Yeah, I hope you had a really lovely Christmas. I hope you had a lovely chill time. I hope you didn't go shopping on Boxing Day. You will see me again before the new year, because, as I mentioned, I'm going to do a video on the last day of 2017 and a video on the first day of 2018 to sort of bookend things on the middle. No, you guys get what I mean, right? So I'm going to go and see if there is any chocolate left in the house. I don't think there is, but I'm going to have a little hunt, and I will see you in my next video on the last day of 2017. Hope you guys are good. Have a little chat with me in the comments below. Say hello. Tell me all about your Christmases. I want to know. I'm nosy. So thanks very much for watching, and you'll see me again next time. Bye.